Ringgit Malaysia is dropping like a rock. It was at $4.42 on September 23rd. On September 29th, it was $4.56, and today in the first week of October, it's already $4.65 to $1. If it keeps on going this way, it's going to lose 10 cents per week. It only takes 4 weeks before Ringgit goes to 5 Ringgit to $1. Is that crazy? If you're afraid right now, okay, you better stay tuned. So a lot of people are getting super angry about this right now and asking, okay, is it the fault of the Malaysian government? They are blaming the government right now because they're irresponsible as a government. They're not taking care of the economy and they're not making sure that we're protecting ourselves. So who's at fault for the ringgit dropping? I think a lot of people are blaming our government at this moment. They're saying maybe the government's not doing a good enough job. Okay, Bank Negara is not actually protecting us well enough. We're not focusing on the economy. Well, for the first time in my videos, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to tell you this right now. It is not the fault of our government. Yes.
What?
For the first time in a very long time, I'm not going to say how good our government is. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you this right now. It's got nothing to do with our government. I'm going to blame this fairly squarely on one country called the US of A. That's right, my friends. This depreciation of ringgit has got nothing to do with the Ukraine war or China or even our government. I place it solely on one culprit, and that culprit is the US of A. If you give me a few minutes, I'm going to share with you guys and explain to you guys why I say so. So let's get started, right? So it all started in 2020 when COVID became a global pandemic. When WHO announced that COVID was a huge pandemic, and in March of last year, what happened? There was panic all over the world. Because of this pandemic, many people couldn't work, and so that happened also in the US of A. A lot of places had to shut down, there were quarantines, there were travel locks. All this actually disrupted business all over the place. There it was in the US where there was a president called Trump who was going to get re-elected that year and need to make sure that everyone was happy. But people weren't happy because they couldn't make money, some people were losing their jobs, and their country just might fall into economic chaos because of this thing called COVID. So what could he do then to make sure that they keep people happy and hopefully get their votes? So what did he do? He actually went out there to start the money printers again. He did the one thing that US has done before, and he did it again this time around, just that it was really crazy. He turned the money printers on. He literally printed US dollars out of thin air, creating huge amount of money and giving it all out to the people, right? How much did he print? He printed $9 trillion, all right, within a very short period of time. And this was then given out to many people during this time so that they could resolve their misery during the COVID periods. Now, let me just share with you this. Imagine right now you're receiving $1,200 to $1,600 to $1,800 US dollars consecutively month after month. Wouldn't that make you richer? Correct? Yes. And what happens after that when you receive so much money into your life? Well, people in business will start to look at you guys and say, hey, all these people are making so much money right now, you know. And look, I'm not going to sell this cup of coffee for just $5 to these people. I want to make some money as well. So what did they do? Once everything went over and business started coming back, they realized that a lot of people were rich, so they decided to raise the money of coffee, let's say for example, from $5 a cup, right, to $8 a cup, to $10 a cup, to $15 a cup. So this is what's been happening in the past 1 year. Fast forward right now in 2021 to 2022, after the COVID pandemic has been under control, what has happened is with all this huge amount of money being printed, right, inflation sets in. So inflation has been hitting US like crazy for the past 1 year, and US has been trying to control it. Now, here's the part that most of you are probably wondering, what's it got to do with me? Well, give me another 2 more minutes and let me explain this part to you guys right now. With all the prices of goods starting to go up and things started to go crazy, US started to panic and say, hey, my dollar is now shrinking in price. When coffee used to be $5 and now it's $15, that means inflation's coming in and my dollar is getting smaller. So what did they do? They said they have to stop this from happening, and in order for them to do that, what they needed to do was increase the interest rates. So what has happened in the past 1 year alone is that US has increased the interest rates more than 5 times, from 0 to 3.25% within 1 year. Now that's crazy, and this year hasn't ended yet. So imagine right now you bump up the interest rate so much. Why? Because you want to take this extra money back. anyone who has a credit card debt, anyone who has a car loan, anyone who has a mortgage payment now has to pay more money to the government. So the government's taking all this extra money back. Now, this is where it hits Ringgit Malaysia, because interest works two ways. Not only do people have to pay you back more money, but bank savings and interest rates goes up. So if you save money in the bank, you get more interest. So USD has increased in price because interest rates has gone up. The price of the bonds are now looking very attractive because the interest that is being promised right now is about 3% to 4%. Now that's crazy. So imagine right now, right, that USD is now becoming so lucrative because, hey, it's a strong currency, and number two, is giving you interest of more than 4%. People are going like, why am I putting money into Ringgit Malaysia or all these other smaller countries whereby the big boy over there is actually giving me better interest? So a lot of people are taking money out, okay, from smaller countries all around the world, right, and the global world, and they're putting all back into USD. So here's the funny part. Isn't it funny? The country that's creating the chaos in the first place is now the hero at the end of the day. Now, I know that sounds dumb, but that's exactly what's happening. So that's why countries like Malaysia, who doesn't have a lot of money on their own, cannot hedge against this. And that's why a lot of foreigners are taking money out from Malaysia, making the ringgit start to drop in value. So now what can our country do about it in order for us to stop this bleed? Well, the simple thing is this: make Ringgit Malaysia, our country, more attractive by simply also increasing our rates. So yes, my friends, our interest rates in Malaysia are also going to go up in order for us to stay competitive in the international world. So what has it got to do with you and me is that our interest rates, if you have a car loan, if you have a credit card loan, if you have a housing loan, it is going to go up in the next few months. It is definitely going to do this, right? So this is going to be some bad news for many of you guys right now. And I know a lot of you guys are angry, but it's not really the fault of our government. It's something that's happening globally, and until US stops to increase their interest rates, we are going to get hit by this. So now, I've got two things I want to share. One more is that when will it stop? Well, I've got some bad news for you. It is not going to stop anytime soon. The reason why I'm doing this video is because US is set to increase their interest rates again 2 more times before the end of this year. They need to control their inflation. They don't care about the rest of the world, and that's why they're going to selfishly increase the interest rates again. And this is going to affect us all over the world. Every other currency is also now going to depreciate more. Governments are panicking, and we are also going to increase our interest rates very soon as well, which will then lead to number 2, it's going to impact you, the people on the streets. If you don't protect yourself starting today, and you don't start to bulletproof your money today, your money is going to shrink in value. So how do you do that? Well, I'm going to share another video on this right now, but I'm going to get a very simple one today. Either number 1, safeguard your money by putting it into a stronger currency, a stronger foreign currency, or number 2 is basically put your money into a different form called assets. Find good hard assets which will not depreciate as the money goes smaller. So for example, you could put it into houses, you could put it into land, and I'll talk about more of that later on. But one of the things I want to tell you right now is you have to start bulletproofing your money today, because in a matter of months, it is going to start depreciating even more, right? So if you like the video that I've shared with you right now, please don't forget to click like and share and subscribe to it. And I'm going to share with you more news after this. But guys, just remember what I shared with you right now. Do protect yourself because things are just getting started. Alright, so see you guys. Bye-bye.